Righty. So now we are, we finished talking about QP, QA, QC, and then, okay, what is PQP, part of the PQP? What is the content of the PQP? So this is the slides that we are hoping to, demystify things for you and make sure that you understand what should go into PQP. A lot of engineers like to think of PQP as specifications. They like to think of PQP as a set of using BS code, then they copy BS code, they copy Euro code, and then they put it in there. They copy testing requirement from specification that is 20 years ago. Those informations are actually, yes, they are important, but they are not meaningful when it doesn't help with the execution of your PQP, you see. So this recording, I hope to finish this recording in 10 minutes. So let's go through this and see if we can, get it done. Right. So in the PQP, you must understand this is the manual that is specifically created for your project. Obviously, if the project is similar, you can reuse this PQP, but of course, change it to your next project characteristic. Not all projects are built the same, you see. So even though it's houses, it might be different, And then for this project, you must understand what is the characteristic of your project. You must know the what are the activities of your project. So this PQP will first and foremost have what we call the activities. So you need to do your work breakdown. Basically, all your work breakdown needs to be clear, very, very focused, and then from there you will actually understand overall what are the quality standards, what are the requirements of the authority, what are the requirements of the clients, the standard that you're using. These are very formal standards that we're looking at. Okay, so again, I repeat standards. Okay, and then after that, from that, you must, before that, you also have to understand what are the company policy and all that. So this is part of that standard. Okay, then after that, you will look at the various M's, okay? And these various M's will be looking into material, machineries, methods, and manpower, okay? So 4 M's. Some people say money is another M, 5 M's. And some people say 6 M's. So I think 4 M's is enough of a headache already. So we have about 4 M's here. So in these 4 M's, you're looking at the standards of material. Standards are usually for material. Whether you need to attach some testing standards associated. If you buy bars, you may need to have birth cert. So these are some of the practice that you have. And then this is built, made in Malaysia. This is made in KL, instead of bars, they have no cert one. So you don't know whether it swings from, the other side of the ocean to you see. So no standard means there's no testing that has been done on it before. It may be not up to whatever requirement that you are designing in your drawings and in your calculation, you see. So you have to be very, very careful. So you need to look at, okay, the material, where it comes from, where the standards are, what are the birth cert required, if there's any birth cert, that is birth cert, in apostrophes, but it's more of the way it comes from, the origin of the materials, and then how it has been delivered. It's all make a difference in the final product. See, so go through that, and then some may need to have testing report and all that. So you must define that. See, and then with manpower, usually we will associate that with the workmanship. Manpower is workmanship. Workmanship is method. So you have certain steps of doing things, and these certain steps require people. And what sort of people do you need? You see, you need to have skilled laborers, you need to have licensed person, and you need to have trained person. You need to see what team that you're using and what sort of background they are from, and what subcon that you are looking at, what sort of level, what sort of training. So it's all being specified out for that particular activities, you see. And then for methods, obviously, we will basically, have the flow of work, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, you can do that. And then when you do that, is there any specific items that needs to be watched out for, that specific tests, specific methods that needs to be there. So as a designer for the project, you should really when you do PQP, it's not a one man's effort, it's not a one man's effort of writing specification. Like I said, specification can be written by clerk in the office because it is a copy and paste kind of exercise, okay? So if you want to do a proper PQP for a project, you must actually gather your contractor, your team together, in order to produce that PQP, see? So the designer will know why I want to specify it to this particular level or this particular numbers or this particular dimension. And the contractor will tell you whether this is actually doable or not doable or whether it's practical or not. And then you can say that I want to step one, step two. You can go to some very nitty-gritty detail, but actually it may not be necessary. So it's actually good to get the perspective of the builder to come in. So from that design, okay, when you start the project, before you start the project, but after the confirmation of the contractor, if it's just a traditional general contracting, then we will get the feedback from the contractor to sit down to work on the PQP. But if it's a design and build project, you can actually do it a lot earlier. During the design stage, you can start to get the PQP already. At the same time, as you are thinking about how to construct it, you see. So methods, and then machineries, obviously, if there's a special machines or special criteria of machines needed, you must specify that as well. See, I would use the word specify. Specify is only part of it, actually. You must put it down, and then you must look in. When you specify, it's not that I must use this, So try to explain the importance of this particular item, towards the understanding of the creating the final product. So with that word breakdown with the M's that you have, like I've mentioned it just now, you are looking into various standards, various combination of the whole system. So I mean, it's not to say that you have to separate them. In fact, a lot of times, all these M's are actually working together. So what you need to do is maybe I would generally suggest you start with the flow chart. So with that particular activity, you take it up, you do your methods first. You write up all the flow of the work first, and then from the workflow, you will see what sort of material, what sort of the methods will tell you what sort of material, what sort of manpower, what sort of machinery is required. So all the execution checklist will be there, and all the template will be there, and then from there, you also input in control, you see. So you must have your QC. So this is the QA bit. So you put in your metrics, your measurement of that particular item, and include whatever you've learned previously in other project, include that into your new PQP. And then, so this is the quality assurance preparation part, Or not only creating those baseline, you also need to create a quality assurance plan, program, which has metrics, measurement, templates, rubrics, I don't know what else, checklists, and then you take that and then you talk about data collection, what are the frequency of data collection, what are the frequency of, how frequent you need to collect, how frequent you need to do the experiment, how many test cube you need, how many items you need for testing, and if that fails, what do you do, you see? So if you create that, that is a good PQP. So in that PQP guideline that we have, okay, we will include things like document, purchasing. Yeah, you don't really have to have this, but yeah, you can. It's under material normally, corrective action, non-conformance testing. So I would say these are just some of the items that is available in the PQP. Okay, so combine that with whatever I've spoken. I mean, I'm giving you a very general. I've given you very specific steps in doing the PQP. You see,